It's for that. Today we're going to be making white forest cake. I'm going to be showing you how to make the cake base, then the whipped cream. Also, I'm going to be showing you how to frost it. This white forest cake has a very soft and delicious vanilla cake base, and on top of that you have really smooth and delicious whipped cream frosting. So without any further ado, let's get on to making it. Let's begin by making the cake batter. For that, here I've taken a large mixing bowl. Into it I'm going to crack in 3 large eggs. If your eggs are small, take 4 eggs. Make sure the eggs are at room temperature. Next, here I've taken 1 cup of sugar. This is normal white granulated sugar. And I'm going to start beating the eggs and gradually add in the sugar. Add the sugar little by little. Meanwhile, beat the eggs with the sugar and incorporate all the sugar and dissolve it into the eggs. Gradually keep adding the sugar, and you need to beat it for at least 8 minutes. And by the end of 8 minutes, you need a mixture that's really double in size, also should have a pale color and also be thick in consistency yet loose. So here I've beaten the mixture really well, and that's the consistency you want. Now into it I'm going to pour in 1/4 cup of milk and 5 tablespoons of oil or melted butter. Just give that a good mix. And then let's set the hand beater aside. We're going to fold in the dry ingredients. For that, here I've taken a sift. I'm going to sieve in the dry ingredients. I have a cup of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of milk powder, a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Now sift that in. Once that's done, gently fold the ingredients into the batter. Do not be too hard and fold it too quick. Then the air bubbles are going to be depleted and the cake will not be as soft. So gently fold the batter. And here the mixture has come nice and smooth. Now I'm going to pour that into the baking pan. Here I've taken 2 6-inch baking pans with spring-form bottom. I've also lined the bottom with parchment paper. Now I'm going to divide the batter equally in between both of these pans. The batter is going to rise quite a bit, so make sure you don't over pour the batter. Now that's done, I'm going to keep it into a preheated oven for baking. And after you've taken it out of the oven, you can just insert a skewer and check if it's completely baked. If it comes out clean, then you know it's completely baked. I'm going to set that aside for cooling, and once it's completely cooled, I'm going to take it out of the pan and cut it into 3 different layers like this. And also, I've only cut one of the pans. The other pan, I'm just going to keep it aside and frost only one cake. Let's set that aside for a while and make the whipped cream. For that, here I've taken my whipping cream. I've taken Victoria's whipping cream. So while you're choosing the whipping cream, what you need to make sure is that the whipping cream is already sweetened. If it's unsweetened whipping cream, you'll have to add extra sugar. So that will make the whipping cream not so stiff. Make sure you use sweetened whipping cream. That's going to be way easier. So all you have to do is take the whipping cream, pour it into a bowl and beat it. You can just read the instructions, and that way it's going to be way easier to beat. And my whipping cream I've taken, it takes only 3 minutes to get whipped. I'm going to measure out 2 cups of whipping cream and pour that into a bowl. You can just seal the rest of the whipping cream and keep it back into the fridge. I'm going to pour that into a bowl and start beating it. Just follow the instructions and beat it really well. Also make sure the whipping cream is perfectly well chilled, or else it's going to start curdling up. Also, do not overbeat the whipping cream. If you overbeat the whipping cream, then the whipping cream is going to stop separating with the water. So make sure you don't overbeat it. and you need to bring it to a stiff peak consistency like this. You can see that the whipping cream is holding its shape really well, and that's what you want. Beat it until it stiff peaks and the whipped cream is ready. Next, let's begin frosting the cake. For that, here I've taken my turntable. I'm just going to put a small dollop of frosting on the bottom so that my cake board sticks, and then again another dollop of frosting on the cake board, and keep the first layer of cake. Next, I'm going to brush it slightly with some sugar syrup. The sugar syrup is going to make sure that the cake layers stay super soft throughout. After that, I'm going to put a nice dollop of whipped cream frosting on top. Spread that out and then put some strawberry jam on top. So the jam is optional, but white forest cakes usually have jam on it, so I recommend you use it because it's going to give it an extra flavor. Next, keep another layer of cake, sugar syrup, whipped cream, and then again the next layer of jam. Just continue it until all the cake layers are over. Next, I'm going to keep the third and final layer of cake, and just make sure it's all leveled up. Brush that with sugar syrup, and then you need to crumb coat it. So crumb coat is basically just a really thin layer of frosting on the cake before the final layer of frosting. So what the crumb coat is going to do is that it will seal all the crumbs, so when you are doing the final layer of frosting, none of the crumbs are going to come out. So make sure you do the crumb coat. And once you've done with the crumb coat, I'm going to keep it into the refrigerator and chill it for at least 3 hours before doing the final layer of frosting. The crumb coat doesn't really need to be that smooth, just make it a rough coat. And then I'm going to keep this in the refrigerator. After 3 hours, I'm going to take it out and the cake is completely chilled. Now you can do the final layer of frosting, and the final layer of frosting should be really thick. And when the layer of frosting is thick, none of the crumbs are going to come out. The crumb coat is also going to help seal the crumbs in place, so you don't have to worry about it. While doing the last layer of frosting, make sure you smoothen it out as much as you can. Now that it's done, I'm going to start decorating the cake. For decorating it, I've put some frosting into a piping bag with a tip. Then I'm going to pipe small dollops on the bottom. Decorate the cake however you want, it's up to you. I'm also going to put a few dollops on top. Then keep cherries in between. Like I said, it's up to you. The decoration is totally up to you. Next, I've also taken some grated white chocolate. I'm going to keep that onto the middle. Just spread it onto the middle like that. And there, the white forest cake is ready. I hope everybody tries this recipe out. Now I'm going to cut it and serve it. It's not a hard recipe, it's a very simple recipe. The cake is super simple to make, also it's very soft and fluffy. You can understand when you cut it itself, it's super easy to cut, and the frosting is really smooth. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Also ring that notification bell so that you get notifications every time I post a new video. Thanks for watching. Love cooking. Bye bye.